Hi, I'm Abraham Keys, here to share with you a story about a chicken who loved a baby duck, and it's showtime!
It's a story that embodies unconditional and unconventional love. And most importantly, it's a story with a message that bears repeating when it comes to us all, that we should love one another.
What you might not expect is that the story involves a chicken named Donkey who raised baby ducks. All right, so here to tell us all about the story and how it became a popular book is Abraham Keys. He is the author of When Donkey the Chicken Raised Baby Ducks. Oh, I cannot wait to hear about this. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So this was actually inspired by a true story?
Yes.
Tell us the story.
Absolutely. So I grew up on a farm my whole life. I've always had animals, and when I moved to Maryland, that was something that I wanted to continue. I wanted it part of my childhood. So we went ahead and bought some backyard chickens. And the following year, we rescued some ducks from somebody we knew. And those were the key element to the story. Donkey, quickly one of my favorites, just because of her name and her personality.
Yeah.
Went broody in May of 2021.
Went broody.
Broody means she was determined to hatch out some babies.
Oh, okay.
So she sat on eggs and hatched out some baby chicks. Later that summer, she did it a second time, and my spouse said, why not try some baby ducks? Being that I grew up on a farm and I'm very familiar with just chickens in general, I knew that chicken moms are generally amazing mothers and will hatch and raise other species. So I said, you know what, let's do it. So I went ahead and I put some duck eggs under her, and she sat on them until they hatched. And that was the inspiration for my story. I would go into work and talking to friends, would just share Donkey's story and my experience in watching her and just seeing her interact with the baby ducks and how they had to learn to adjust to each other's needs, because it's different than what is a traditional mother-baby situation.
Well, I was getting ready to ask, why did you think this was such an important message to share?
Well, everyone kept encouraging me to write the story, and I said, I'm just a homeschooled kid who grew up in South America. This is not something that is going to come easy for me. It's out of my element. I said, I can't write a story. But after much prompting, I decided to do it. I wrote the book, and then it sat on a shelf for months and months. It sat on a shelf, and I'm like, well, now what? What happens when you write a book? You know, how do you proceed? How do we make this? Yeah, what's the next step? And I met my illustrator. And
these are fantastic, by the way.
Yes, thank you. He started doing my illustrations for me, and I knew right away that he was going to be able to capture the beauty of not only the farm style life, but also the message that we were trying to get across to the reader, which is, if you read the book, the unconditional love that we talked about. But one thing that was so important when I started writing a children's book is I'm one of 12 children. My parents had 12 kids, and so being the second oldest, my youngest sister was born when I was 22. And I grew up buying books and gifts for them, for my siblings, and board books are such a fantastic item for small children.
Right.
And I said, if I do this, I want a board book. And I asked my illustrator, Demetrius, and his wife, Michelle, I said, how can we go about making this dream a reality? And they said, we don't know, we've never done board books. So we researched and found a company based in Chicago who partners with a printing company in China. And so we went all the way to China to get the board books printed. And a little over 4 months later, here we are with the board book.
Aww.
And it turned out so amazing. I'm so excited about this. But that's just the start of the journey. Writing the book was the easy part. Now that it's written, it's the marketing and getting it out there. And I had no expectations. As I said, as a homeschooled kid, I had no expectations as to how this all worked,
right.
You know. And so I just wrote the book, and before I knew it, it started blowing up locally just in our area. And I was like, what is going on? Why do people love our story?
Yeah.
So the reactions were good.
The reactions were amazing. I started getting calls from schools asking me to come visit. The first school that ever reached out to me said, would you be interested in coming to a school? And I said, oh, I don't know, I've never done one. Is that something that happens when you write books? I didn't even know. And they said, yes, we want to purchase 340 of your books to give out to each student.
Oh, that's awesome.
And you know, just hearing that just kind of was one of those moments that it started sinking in. And school after school after school over the last few months have done the same thing using grant money and literacy funding. They have reached out over and over again.
That's terrific. Okay, now where can we get the book?
Where can you get the book? Absolutely. So the paperback is available on Amazon. You can go right on Amazon. That's one thing that was important, is the convenience. Having family all over the world. Though this was my dream, I wanted it to be available conveniently for other friends and family that I have. And so I put it on Amazon. That paperback is available on Amazon for just $9.99. The board books are a little bit harder to get. They're only available with me, just because we just did this for my pleasure, I guess. And we're finding that a lot of people want this one too, just because of the beauty of having a board book for small children.
So we'll put the information on how to contact you in case you want to get a board book. When Donkey the Chicken had baby ducks.
That is so great. Abraham Keith, thank you so much
You're
for coming
welcome.
in and sharing your book
Yes,
with us. How
thank
wonderful.
you for having me.